What's up, good people? Thank you for clicking play on another episode of Big Man, Tiny Kingdom. I bought something recently that, given my financial situation, being as money challenged as I am, maybe I shouldn't have bought it at this time. But I did, and I'll explain what it is, how I plan to use it, the good, the bad, the pros, the cons, the amount I spent, and if I have buyer's remorse about purchasing it. I won't even waste time revealing what I purchased. It's a Jackery Explorer 2000 plus portable power station. If you're unfamiliar with Jackery products, you can easily find info online about them. They have a large line of portable power products. They don't sponsor me, so that's all the highlight I'm going to give about Jackery, the company. Let me get into the Jackery product that I purchased. I'll start with a background of my portable power use. It really hasn't been too big of a thing for me because I prefer to primarily stay at campgrounds where there are power hookups. I'm a city boy. I tend to bring the city with me when I'm camping. Even though I have ways to cook without using power, I lean more toward cooking with my electronic products, air fryer, induction burner, pressure cooker, crock pot. Whatever camping meal I plan to make, I bring the appliances that I need for that trip. I'm big on watching movies while camping, so I like bringing my TV for that. Sometimes I might bring my projector. Then there's my smartphone, my tablet, my GoPro cameras. And for the nighttime, I like to have my campsite lit up with as much light as I can have, which for that, I have an assortment of lighting products that require plug-in power to work. There's other reasons why I prefer campgrounds with power hookups, but as you can tell, I've already listed enough items that show I ain't a true outdoors person. I ain't even gonna front about that. I'm a glamper. I'm okay with that. To me, being outdoors and enjoying nature doesn't mean I have to be primitive about it. I'm a child of technology and electronics. I'm definitely a gadget man. In any part of my life, if there's a product I could use to get something done faster, best believe I'm going to use it. In 2019, I purchased a Jackery 500 for whenever I camped somewhere that I didn't have power. And my intentions with that were to keep my phone charged and to power a small fan or light. Didn't get much use because, like I already mentioned, I usually search for campgrounds with power. But then I decided to camp for an extended weekend at Lake Pleasant Regional Park in Peoria, Arizona. And that's when the need for portable power became a reality. I was with my son. He did a couple of the nature things with me. We went hiking, and that night we hanged out around the campfire for some hours. But there were nice chunks of time when he just chilled in his tent, doing stuff on his phone, which the Jackery came in handy for keeping his precious iPhone running. I used it a little bit as well, but didn't need it for cooking or lights or fans. I had a butane fuel stove and battery power products for those purposes, which I have enough batteries to power my stuff for probably about a whole weekend in normal use situations. Keeping my phone charge is lowest on the list for me. I don't care too much about using it while I'm camping. I do like having it for pictures and videos because the iPhone does have a pretty good camera quality on it. But if I was camping somewhere that no signal was available, fine by me. It's nice to not be able to stay connected to my everyday tech light. I figured having the Jackery 500 for those occasional no power hookup times would be enough portable power for me, and it really has been so far. There was even this time when I went camping at Coles Ranch Resort in Payson, Arizona. I was in a cabin on that trip, so there shouldn't have been a need at all for portable power. That was until the resort experienced a power outage on my first night there. It lost power around 6 p.m. and it stayed out for the rest of the night. It was caused by a storm that included some snow weather, which meant it was also cold. Well, I'm always pre-thinking about what if this happens scenarios. So me being the camping pack rat that I am, I decided to pack for this trip my Jackery, some portable lights, and also heating blankets since it was the wintertime. Went to the truck, got what I needed, and just like that, I had things that the resort did not. I have an episode in season 1 where I talk about my time at Coles Ranch. If you haven't already, you should check it out to hear the full story. But that was a prime example of where having the Jackery really was useful. Now, fast forward to more recently, I've been looking at purchasing some off-grid land, At first, just a small amount, maybe an acre or two, where I can have a place all to myself for camping getaways. Then I would look into making it a homestead at some point. Off-grid property here in Arizona is super inexpensive in some areas, but that is because it is raw land. There are little to no utility services. You'll most likely have to install a well, figure out a septic system, and solar would probably be the best choice for power. Since at first this is just a weekends and occasional vacation spot for me, I thought it would be best to upgrade to a bigger portable power station because the Jackery 500 would not be nearly enough battery for a full power situation. So I got to shopping. Since I already owned a Jackery and I do like matching my product brands, it wasn't much thought put into what I would get next. I decided to go with the Jackery 2000 Plus. The reason I chose that one was because of the future thinking capabilities it has. The first unit has a 3,000 watt battery output, and then there are additional 3,000 watt expansion batteries that can be added onto it. A total of 5 of the expansion batteries can be used, which would provide enough energy to power an entire residential home for a full day. The fridge, stove, air conditioner, all the lights, your heating, TVs, computers, etc., 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 in a normal everyday use situation. Me being in a 20-foot trailer, that ain't much house for me to power. And even when I build my off-grid property, my plan is to only have a 2, 3, 400 square foot cabin style tiny kingdom. So my power requirements shouldn't need to be that great. Of course, that depends on my usage. And for me, it also depends on the weather. I don't like to be cold, so I'm sure I will run the heat like crazy. But then again, during the wintertime, I would just plan on traveling and staying in warmer areas. Current situation, I'm glad I purchased the 2000 Plus. And let me share a story with you about it. Recently, I had the electrical outlet on the RV catch on fire. This would have been the last week of May, just a few weeks ago. I was laying in bed, still woke, but in that wind down mode, ready to go to sleep. All of a sudden, the power clicks off. I go to the fuse panel to see if the breaker tripped. No problems there. Couple seconds later, I start smelling smoke. I rush to put clothes on. I'm making my way to the campground power box to turn it off and unplug the cords. Nothing there looks like a problem. Don't smell or see any smoke. It's probably 9:30 at night, so it's dark outside. And in my peripheral vision on the left side of my RV, I see something lit up. I rush over there and the electrical plug that enters the RV is on fire. Fire department arrives. The fire had already went out before they got there, but the dispatcher told me to not enter the inside due to the smoke. Once the firefighters got there, they used their fancy gadgets to check for heat sensors. Again, there's another good example of the wonders of technology. Like I was saying earlier, if there's a piece of tech or a product for working smarter, not harder, by all means, it should be used. Within a matter of minutes, the firefighters were able to assess that all was safe when it came to the unit being free of fire. Thankfully, I was in the city when this happened, and major thanks goes out to the City of Mesa Fire Department. They arrived super quick, within 4 or 5 minutes. They showed great urgency and were very professional and poised. They were concerned about my well-being, asked that I need a place to stay until I could get the RV back running with power. And I was able to tell them that I would be fine because I knew that I had this Jackery 2000 Plus that I had purchased just a month before, and it provided me with power that I needed to make it through the rest of that night. It was a high 80s, early 90s summer night, not unbearably hot, but still the air conditioner was needed. I have a window AC unit that I was able to plug into the 120 volt outlet on the Jackery. So now I don't have to worry about being at an uncomfortable hot temperature. I'm fully awake now, nerve-wracked about what happened, not able to go to sleep at any time soon. I decided to plug my TV and internet modem into the Jackery to stream one of my favorite comedy sitcoms from the 90s, Martin. Always keeps me laughing, and I was able to take my mind directly off of the fire situation. Probably within an hour or so, I was sleeping like a baby. The 2000 Plus has 4 120 volt plugs along with 4 USB connections. It also has a 30 amp port that I could plug my RV cord into. and be able to provide electricity to the whole rig. But in this case, since it caught on fire and was now burnt out, I wasn't able to use it, which is why I like that the 2000 Plus is portable. I'm able to move it wherever I need so that I have a nearby power outlet to plug into. I have sleep apnea, which meant I also needed to power my CPAP machine. However, with plugging in the AC, the internet, TV, a fan, my CPAP, and charging my phone, the 2000 Plus was nowhere near its battery capacity. It was at 74% charged at the time I started using it. Next morning, it was at 53%. Those items didn't drain it too much overnight. So for my needs at that moment, it did very well. Only thing I forgot about plugging in was my fridge, but fortunately for me, the cold temperature it was already at lasted throughout the night and into the next day. So I went to work. The RV park was able to get a repair person out that morning, and the power was back to normal before I finished my workday. Only thing left to do is clean up the black smoke burnt onto the exterior. Moral of this story, it was wise to purchase the 2000 Plus when I did. Had I not had it, I would have needed to find a hotel to stay at that night. And let's just say it would have taken longer for the repairs. I would have little to no concerns running my appliances with the 2000 Plus while I was waiting. I'll talk more about my uses for the Jackery in a future episode, but I'd like to now share the financial investment side to this purchase. And yes, I'm definitely calling it an investment because it's already proved to me with the fire scare the significant value it brings to the table. Grand total I paid for it, $3,456.52. Nice chunk of change for me and my money situation. Not something I have sitting in savings or petty cash. I chose to finance this purchase using my Lowe's credit card. They had a special promotion, 84 months with 7.99% fixed interest. I've already had my first bill, and the amount for this month is $43, with the interest being $17.08 of that. I've already made 2 payments on it, paying $50 per paycheck every 2 weeks. I intend to do that for the duration of paying it off. Also throw extra at it on those months when I get 3 paychecks. And then if I get a tax return, which I haven't been getting much the last couple of years, but if I do, I'll put some more on it then as well. The price I paid was for a Jackery bundle, so I didn't just get the 2000 Plus power station. It also came with a second 300-watt expansion battery, as well as 2 200-watt solar panels, which I will talk about that in the future. But by getting the bundle, I saved myself $1,469.30. If I would have bought each of these separately, the total would have been $4,925.82. So basically, I got the 2 solar panels for free because they run $700 each by themselves. I believe I shared some good stuff already about the Jackery. A couple bad things or cons I see about the 2000 Plus. Number 1, it's got some size to it. In my small RV, having anything take up too much space is not a good thing. But given what all it provides for me, I'm okay with figuring out how to manage the amount of space that it needs. Another negative about the size, it weighs 60 plus pounds. Yeah, I'm a big dude and can lift it, but I have to factor that in when I consider what uses I may need it for. If I ever had to carry it for a distance, its bigness may be somewhat challenging. As far as weight restrictions, right now I don't have any, but if I ever did, this extra 60 pounds plus whatever the panels and expansion batteries weigh could be something to be concerned about. There are some nicely made side handles that make it a lot easier to carry. There is also a retractable arm to pull it and wheels on the bottom. I see those working well for smooth, flat surfaces, but maybe not so much if you're pulling it through sand, dirt, or a rocky environment. Not a huge deal for me, but the size of it is a bit of a concern when it comes to its portability. Then another negative concern I have is charging Jackery. Now I do have solar panels, but if I'm relying on solar, I need to make sure that I have enough sun available for that to work out, which I don't have any control over that part. However, I do live in Arizona where there is plenty of sun, and currently with the 400 watts of solar I have, as well as being able to expand up to 6 solar panels for a total of 1200 watts, I am sure that I can input enough energy to keep my 2000 plus charged up. Downside to buying more solar panels, as well as buying more of the expansion batteries, is that they will definitely put a hurting on the wallet. The solar panels being at $700 each, and the expansion batteries retail at $1,199 each. So if I ever decided to expand this system to its full capacity, I would be looking at another $2,800 for 4 more 200-watt panels and $4,796 for 4 more of the 300-watt expansion batteries, for a total additional investment of $7,596. I hope my math is good with that. Now, I doubt I would need to do the full expansion because I don't foresee my tiny home needing that much daily power, but who knows? Maybe I might. If that ever was the case, adding up what I've already spent and what I could spend in a future purchase at a total of $11,053, that's still much less than what I was getting quoted for the nearly $20,000 Renogy solar system built out with all the panels and batteries that I may need. And that stuff wouldn't be portable. So there would be an additional cost for installation and for tear down if I ever wanted to remove it. At least with the Jackery setup, in a scenario where I left for the winter, I could just put all the expensive batteries and panels in the back of my truck and bring them with me so that there's no potential theft that could happen while I'm away. Aside from solar, I can also charge it with the 12-volt cigarette lighter port while driving, which is great to have that option if ever needed. Did I have this kind of money to be spending right now? No, not really. Anyone who makes smart purchasing decisions would be saying, shame on me, and I respect that point of view. That being said, do I have buyer's remorse getting this new Jackery? Hell to the nah. This is an investment. I'm able to produce and store portable power. I'm now able to camp at BLM land and do boondocking if I ever wanted to, which can save me the money I spend on campground reservations. When I get into a property owner situation, this reduces and maybe even eliminates my need to do business with a power company that I'm sure we could all agree they are overcharging us for what they provide. It's a small monthly payment that I can afford. I spend more than $50 a month on leisure purchases. At least now, some of that spending is going on a beneficial product investment that provides me multiple reasons I can use it for. Yeah, this is my best purchase of 2024. I decided to name her Jackie 2000. I'll let y'all know in a future episode how she's working out for me. Thanks for tuning in. Until next episode, keep it kosher, good people. This is Big Man, Tiny Kingdom.